I'm Duane Antle. I live in the town of Come by Chance. I'm a firefighter by trade and by desire. I volunteer with our community fire service, and I'm a volunteer with the provincial fire service as well through the Association of Fire Services for Newfoundland and Labrador. I guess from my perspective, what I heard a lot of was things were really difficult in rural Newfoundland and Labrador. There wasn't a lot of money. And if you look back at our history and you see how we had, commission of government, and we had, a representative government or whatever they called themselves back then, and there were so many things tried. And according to my grandparents, while those things may have worked in St. John's, they didn't work very well in places like Atterbury, where they lived, or Perry's Cove, or any other, I guess, half-isolated community at that time. I mean, think about it, before Confederation, we didn't even have a highway. We couldn't get across our own province. We had no way to move product. The railway was, I guess, a product of Confederation to a degree. So hearing them talk about those things, I think they really felt that Confederation was good for them. My family were all fisher people, so they worked really hard. But when the winter came, times were very tough. And I know that I've listened to my grandparents talk about how things changed when healthcare improved. That was a big thing that they saw. Living here in Come by Chance, I hear stories from some of the older people, because they all lived out on the islands. And they had nothing. They had nobody to help them. They had, a medical ship would come by so often, I suppose. Maybe that's the right way to say it, or maybe not, but sometimes a boat would show up with a doctor on it. And I remember this one story that my next door neighbor in Caribou told me growing up. His friend, Guy Earl, owned the SS Kyle. And they went to Labrador picking up fish, and he went for a trip with them. And they would go into communities, and people would come up to the ship and say, "Do you have a doctor? Are you a doctor?" And he would say, "No, I'm not a doctor." "Are you sure you're not a doctor?" Because they were so desperate for help. And I think that was probably, listening to them, that was probably one of the biggest changes that they saw because of Confederation. I think the way Confederation affected the fire service in a very big way was standards and codes. Now we have the Canadian Building Code. We have the Canadian Fire Code. We have the NFPA Life Safety Code. Like, if we didn't join Canada when we did, would we have had those standards to go by? Being part of Canada now, we have a great system of standards in place. Now, they're not perfect and they'll always need work, but as a firefighter, knowing that things are being built to standards and knowing that they're being built better and that people's safety is the main consideration now, that's a big benefit of Confederation for me. I mean, this is one fact that that's affecting me right now about Joey Smallwood. So he had a vision to change Newfoundland and Labrador, burn the boats, that type of deal. Now, my grandfather, being an avid fisherman, and that was the only thing that he really knew and wanted in life, that probably didn't impress him much, that we're going to burn the boats. But today I'm working at an oil refinery. That was the vision of people like Joey Smallwood. So think about it. He brought this person in, John Shaheen, and they transformed Come by Chance into an energy hub. And I mean, there was nothing here. There was a wharf and a railway station. Come by Chance was really a railway town. It was a stop for the railway. And then they built this big state-of-the-art oil refinery. Granted, it closed for a while because things just didn't go well at first. But I think politics played a big part into that. Because if you read the history about the oil refinery and how some of those things went, I think the politics helped force it into bankruptcy. But now it's open, and I've been working there now for the last 20-something years and making a very good living out of a dream that Joey Smallwood had.